Yeah, she's pretty wrecked.
Okay, what's up guys? Super excited. We're about to get our hands on a wrecked 2021 V2 Panigale, and this is gonna be the ultimate rebuild. Stay tuned, we're gonna go down to the bottom of our driveway now and meet the truck. It's due here any minute.
Okay, here we go. Here comes a Ducati. Oh, there she is, in all her wrecked splendor. Okay, so far it doesn't look so good. Did they give you anything else that comes with it or not?
That's it.
Just that. Hey, the brakes work.
Yeah, front brakes work.
That's a bonus. At least those forks look straight.
Bit of polish should be right.
Yeah, should be right.
Well, it's got brakes, so that's a bonus.
Okay, this is, what's your name?
John.
John. John's the legend who's bought this bike, about 1,000 Ks to me. Need me to sign anything? Or?
All yours.
No, brilliant.
Okay.
Cheers, mate.
Okay, let's look at this thing. Oh, you know what? I actually think, oh no, I spoke too soon. I was hoping that front headlight housing would be in one piece, but it's all broken. So, main thing is the dash. Okay, thank God. It's got a couple of little scratches on it, but it's actually okay. It's in one piece. That's like thousands of dollars to replace. Everything actually looks like it's pretty clean. Well, I've got to be honest. Like, it's a totally messed up bike. It's had a massive crash. Okay, radiator's completely gone. That's okay. I've already ordered one of them. It's got a bit of rust on it, so I think it might have been sitting outside the salvage yard for a while. Oh no! Oh no! Look at the scratches on the can. Oh damn it! Okay, I wonder if I can replace just that. You notice I got an umbrella. It's still raining on me, by the way. Yeah, I wonder if I can replace just that. Like, that would be ideal if I could replace just that. Oh, the actual plastic's still here. That's good. I didn't think that was there. So that's another bonus. The back guard has broken off as well. I think that's just one bolt holding it on, so I'm going to need to replace that. So the reason why this is a statutory write-off is because the back swing arm here has a few little scratches on it, and that's enough to make the whole bike a stat write-off.
And so it begins. Another project. This is going to be like my dream project, to work on a Ducati Superbike. We've got a limited amount of time that we actually have to get this bike up and running, because we've got an event on the 21st of January and it's currently the 1st of December. So that gives us almost 2 months to get this bike ready, and I think we can do it. Let's have a look over the bike and see what actually needs work. So it's pretty obvious the whole left-hand side has lost its fairing. Even the bottom fairing here is actually a bit damaged. These are all bent. I don't think it can be salvaged, so this is going to go in the bin. We're missing the entire fairing here. Some of these mounts off whatever these are, these solenoids or whatever, are damaged, so they're going to need to be replaced. It's had a pretty good left side scrape. That's obvious, like the tank is destroyed. That's okay, we've got a new tank coming. The regulator has also taken a bit of damage, so we might replace that. The biggest concern I've got that really annoyed me is the scratches to the actual, to the shock cylinder here. So that's really peeved me, but you know, luckily the shock itself is fine and good working order. Rear sets are pretty well broken, but I think this one's just stuck in the down position, so I might be able to twist it and sell these, because we've got, yes, this is going to be a recurring theme. We've got new rear sets coming as well. Look, I went a little bit nuts last week when I found this bike, and I ordered heaps and heaps of parts in advance so that we can really get stuck into this build. Okay, so from the front, I can probably salvage some of these little extra plastic parts in here. The best thing about it is the dash is fine. The dash is salvageable, so that's good. That's going to save me thousands of dollars. The mount that the dash goes on, so this whole front mount here is broken. We've ordered another one of those. It's coming from Italy.
Master cylinder is fine, thank goodness. We picked up a new lever for it anyway. So the new lever is on its way to me now, and we've picked up a new clip-on, so an OEM clip-on for that. I've just stuck with OEM because I really love the clamps with the OEM Ducati stuff, so I'm going to stick with that. Yeah, this bike hasn't been started in 3 months, so
that leads me to another story. Okay, this little puppy is the key. Now, the salvage yard I bought it off didn't have the key, so the bike wasn't worth as much money. Still, like, I picked it up for a pretty decent amount of money. In saying that, it was a pretty good deal. But we found the original owner, the guy that crashed it. He told me the whole story about how he crashed it about 3 or 4 months ago. It was a low side, and he ended up hitting a concrete guardrail. So he got himself pretty messed up in the process. But thankfully, he's okay now, which is awesome. I think he's watching, so thumbs up to him. His name is Matt, great guy. But he had the spare key. So now is the real truth moment is, will this key actually work in this bike? And if so, is it gonna give us any readings on our dash? It's even got like the new little sleeve that comes on top of it. See? Oh, there we go, crisp new key. Let's chuck it in and see if it works. Okay, keep your fingers crossed, your legs crossed, everything for this to work. This really needs to turn, otherwise I'm up for about $2,000 to actually get this to work. Oh, yeah, baby, it works. Okay, there's a whole bunch of errors. DTC error, side stand error. The fan is making a hell of a noise. I'll turn that off. Oh my God. I can't tell you how good I feel that that key actually works. That is such a relief. Now that has saved me, like, honestly, probably $2,000 in troubles to make that work. So shout out to Matt. Thank you for being so accommodating. Yeah, can't wait for you to see this bike when it's actually finished. So the front forks have got like a few little scrapes on them, but I think they're gonna be okay. I think they're actually quite straight. They've just got these little marks all over them just here. So I think that should just come off. I think it's just like plastic rubbing on them. Yeah, this whole front section, I think that's already been ordered. I've already ordered that because that's all part of that same piece there. So that's coming from Ducati, Italy. Wow, look at that. That's your left switch block. So we've ordered one of these off eBay as well. We're just gonna go with original switch blocks to start with, and we might switch them out to race switch gear as well. We just want to get the bike up and running first. Wow, I think that's actually meant to be on a spark plug somewhere. So that needs to go somewhere, God knows where. It looks like most of the electrical's still intact other than this thing here. I don't even know what it is, where it's supposed to go. Maybe that's it. Oh, is that the spark plug rectifier thingamajig? Looks like it. Looks like those two things belong together. We'll figure that out later. So I've ordered a new top radiator. So that one's bent to hell. Look at it, it's just destroyed. I don't think there's any damage up in there. I might get a torch. Let's have a look. Get my torch on my phone. I don't think there's going to be any engine damage to sort of the top cylinder, but we'll check that out. I really don't want any cracks in the head, which should be around about just behind there. So we'll need to check that out. The head's just up there. That's actually a starter motor, I think. I'm not sure. So the brakes are cool. I think they're fine. The wheels are straight, but we're still going to make a decision on what we're going to do with the wheels. Tires have still got a fair bit of life left in them, but that doesn't matter because we've got a new set of Mitsubishi slicks going on them anyway. So they'll come off. These tires will come off, and oh my God, stop me if I'm speaking too fast. I'm so excited. I can't tell you. I can't tell you why. This side actually looks almost okay. So it's a pity that that's broken. Otherwise, I could sell this fairing. So this whole fairing's wasted. The bottom fairing is also wasted. That's gone. We've got a massive surprise, hopefully turning up shortly for the exhaust. I think everything on the right side rear sets looks okay. It looks generally in pretty good nick. The tires themselves are fine. This wheel's got a little bit of a scuff on it just here, so we'll have to sand that out if we're going to keep that wheel. So this is just the beginning, and this is a massive risk for my channel. Like, we're only a small channel, and to go out and buy a V2 to do a full rebuild is not a small task. So look, if you like the video, subscribe. Some support would be really appreciated, and we hope you enjoy the content. This bike is going to be epic when it's finished. We've got around about 8 weeks to do it in, so let's get it started, eh? Okay, it's the little bits like this that just make me so happy. It's got full EvoTech protectors for the radiators. So it's a little bit bent up the top here, but I reckon I could bend that back into shape. And that looks super cool. So really hope I can really sort of restore that. It's nice and black. Just looking at these first 3 fairings that were taken off, I think they're beyond repair. So what I will do though, is I'll take these little clips off, and I'll keep all these little clips, and I'll bag it all up. So because we're turning this into a track bike, there's all these redundant front end things that we don't need. So indicators, horn, you name it. I've just zip tied it all up. And I'm just gonna clean this whole loom up a little bit, just so there's one less thing to think about. And also, I took photos of everything the way that it should sit, so that we can come back and refer to those photos later if I really need to. So yeah, much cleaner, much more usable. Now there's only, 4 plugs on it, easy. Okay, so I've got to be honest, I am loving how clean this bike is. Like, you know, when you're working on old cafe races, they're always dirty, shitty old bikes, whereas this guy has kept it immaculate. So like, just looking in the engine here, look how clean everything is. It is just so beautiful. And like, I can just see it is, my hands aren't even, like, they're not even dirty. And that's after an hour of working. It's so good. Yeah, oh look, there's another thing gone. Good thing the quick shifter hasn't been affected. So this is the radiator guard. It's actually not bad. Look at that. It's actually just, you can hand straighten it. So I think given a little bit of TLC, and once I've got the new radiator, I'll be able to straighten it out and put it back on. Yay! EvoTech. Okay, so I'm doing some workarounds here. I'm draining this pipe here. Just onto the rag, just so I can actually get my hand in. And there's 2 tiny little bolts all the way in there at the bottom of this radiator. And I can't get my Allen key in there because this plug is in the way, and I don't want to break the plug. It's obviously some sort of air sensor or fuel sensor. It looks like a fuel line, that. So, oh man, it's just gonna be so many little tricks and workarounds you gotta do to get into a Ducati. They don't make it easy for you. There you go. That didn't take me long at all. Okay, so now that the radiator's off, which is just gone, like look at this. It is like you couldn't even use that as scrap metal. Maybe I could use the cap. That's about it, really. So I'll save that cap, and I'll save these little plugs here, these little rubber bung plugs. They come in handy. But now I can actually have a look up and see whether or not there's any extra damage from where that radiator sort of got pushed in to the engine here. So I'll get a torch and have a look in there. It looks pretty good.
Hey, just going back to, I just realized why this bike is so clean. He used to get it serviced at Clean Ride, which is a place near me, and it's something like several $100s just to get your bike detailed. So that's why the engine and everything looks so freaking clean. I'm just gonna try and take this tank off now. It's I actually don't know if I'm supposed to undo those bolts first or just lift it up and then sort of take the sensors off the bottom and stuff. I don't really know. So, okay, it looks like it's just one fuel clip and a rear sensor. So I've taken the rear sensor off. Okay, fuel clips off. So now I should be able to take these nuts out, and it should work. This one on the left-hand side here, where all the damage is like fully bent, like a 10-degree bend in the bolt. The one on the right-hand side is still relatively straight. They're basic M6 bolts, so I can just replace them. But it just goes to show just how much impact it took on the left to actually bend that entire tank back in like that. So still 2 fuel lines at the front. I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna do this tomorrow. It's getting super late here. Look, thanks for watching episode 1. Episode 2, we're going to continue stripping it down a little bit further, but we're going to focus on one large part which is arriving. I'll give you a hint, it's actually the exhaust. And it's a super awesome race exhaust. So we're going to strip this old baby off it, put a new one on it, plus a whole bunch more. We have got so many parts coming for this bad boy, and I've also already got designs in the works as to what the livery is going to be. And it is going to be sensational. It's going to be one of a kind, and this is going to stand out like dog's balls. It's going to be amazing. So stay tuned, like, subscribe, you know the drill. See you on the next one. So it's pretty obvious this tank has to go. So let's do a price check on what this tank is going to cost us.
Perfect.
Through Ducati, Italy, direct, $4,300. That's including shipping, $4,300. Bang, look at that. Super expensive. Okay, so if you're not already following this build, we bought a wrecked 2021 V2 Panigale, and we're gonna build it into something pretty awesome. Stay tuned. Okay, so just shopping around, we've found a few, and here's an absolute steal. It's in the States, so this is in American dollars. He's asking $329. Bang, done. Okay. It wouldn't be a oneL build without a nice fresh new black board to know just how much it's gonna cost. And the courier just arrived with this gorgeous new Marcassini tank cap. In order to get the tank off, we realized because it's still got fuel in it, we can't undo everything, so it's safer just to get rid of all the fuel, and I bought one of these little babies. This is just a jiggle siphon. It was $10 at the hardware store, and look, it's gonna save me a massive amount of pain if I get fuel everywhere. So, better safe than sorry, huh?
Okay, so this actually looks like it's in perfect condition. It's the the right-hand side cover. So we'll be able to sell that, so we won't scrap it like the other pieces.
Okay, so we're gonna take a moment out from working on that frustrating tank, and I wanna show you something really cool. Now, no V2 Panigale should sound like a tin can. So that leads me to what is inside this huge big box here. Let's have a look. Wow, I can't believe how awesome this is. These are twin undertail exhausts from Van Diemen. Look at the intricate workings on them. It's full titanium system. Even the cans at the back, this is actually laser cut, laser etched with their logo into it. It looks beautiful. And these things go just an absolutely amazing blue and purple color when they're actually done. Like, look at that color, see that blue and purple? That's what they're gonna look like. And this is a full system. So let's take a closer look. So it's gonna be awesome replacing this system, and this is gonna give us a heap more power as well. So as soon as we've taken the old exhaust off and put this new one on, full system again, full titanium system, I'm so excited. We're gonna get it fully tuned. So it's gonna get a Woolwich tune, I think it's a Woolwich tune, at Cube Performance on the Gold Coast, when they have a lot of the big race teams come to see them as well. But man, I think I picked up the last one of these in the country. It is gorgeous. Let me show you some of the welds. Look at that. That is just beautiful. And it even comes with all the mounts for the sensors and everything. So for your V2 Panigale, these are titanium bolts as well. Wow. So, have a guess what this cost. This is a comparable, this is a full Termi system. I don't know if you can see that, I'll put it on screen. Anyway, that is in euros, 3,379 euro. That's in Australian dollars, around about seven and a half grand installed. This system, Van Diemen, cost me 3,100 Australian dollars. That's like, I don't know, 2,200 American dollars, super cheap, full titanium, beautiful. I can't begin to tell you how gorgeous this thing is.
Perfect.
Thank God that tank is finally off. It turned out that there was just two tiny little clips into these two fuel lines just here. So that was really easy actually. So a couple of things we'll save. We'll save some of these little fairing mounts. Other than that, we might save the actual the clips here. We'll take those all off just in case we can keep them and reuse them for another time. So now we can finally get a good look into the airbox, and look how nice and beautifully clean that is. Big thanks to Clean Ride Brisbane. These guys do a fantastic job. I'll put a little clip up now just to show you some of the work that they do, you know, ceramic coating and all sorts. But what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna cover this over now and put some plastic in all around it just so nothing actually falls in there. Last thing we want is dirt and grime getting into the engine. Another little thing we just bought is this. This here is an eliminator. So it's actually a kickstand eliminator because we don't want a kickstand on a track bike anyway, or a race bike. And this kickstand has been destroyed by the road when it was flowing down the road at 100 miles an hour. And that means that every time we go to take off, the system won't say you can't go anywhere because the side stands down. So for the next couple of days, we're going to be working on that beautiful Van Diemen exhaust. Bought a brand new box of disposable gloves. I'm probably going to need them all. Okay, so major bummer. I was just taking all the plastic guards off just to make it easier to get to the exhaust, and I noticed that some of these little clips on this back plastic piece here are broken as well. Sometimes I find it's actually cheaper to get some of these pieces, the more intricate plastic pieces, direct from Ducati. They're actually cheaper. Okay, so in order to take this off, there's actually a little sensor. You can see this cable here. This cable here runs down through the hole, and you've got to take the sensor off first. So now I've got to figure out how on earth I can get my fat fingers in there to get that sensor out. What can I say? Ducati. Yeah, Ducati. Okay, change of plans. So I just realized I don't have to go down into there to get the sensor. If I trace it along here, I've just loosened off this side cover. Trace it along here, it actually ends up terminated at a switch just behind that. So all I need to do, hopefully, is disconnect that switch, and I should be able to just pull the whole thing out. So I'll add this exhaust to my collection of Ducati Panigale exhausts for sale later, and whilst I'm at it, I'll do a quick oil and filter change. Okay, so I'm a bit of an idiot, but I just figured out that these numbers actually relate to each other. So this is two separate pieces. So number 1 would join to number 1, which is right here, and so on and so forth. And that's how it all joins together. So here it is, just loosely mocked up. It's still got a couple of fitment issues, so I've just got to twist the bottom pipe a little bit more to get it back right in. So this pipe here just needs to be twisted. Other than that, look, man, these things look sick. I can't wait to hear how they sound. I'm leaving the dB killers out of it, so apparently it's going to be 108 decibels, which is going to be even louder than my Pani V4 that's got arrows on it, just there. So, man, I can't wait to hear how this thing's gonna go, but just look at it. Look at the pipes coming around the bottom there. They are just gonna look amazing when they're like blue and purple. So we've still got the carbon covers to go on it as well once I nail down that fitment. But like I said, I need to take this off anyway to get the rear plastics back on it. But look at that. That is shiny. It is beautiful. There's another piece which comes down here as well. Oh man, that's just gonna set that bike off. So thanks for watching. It's been a really fun episode, to be honest. I've really enjoyed putting this exhaust on and pulling more of the bike apart and really getting to know the ins and outs of what's actually wrong with this bike. There's a few costs involved, yes, but if you like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Plenty more to come on this build. Stay tuned. Okay, we're back at my second home, Ducati. Right, let's go and buy some more stuff, shall we? So I've just found a V2 and a 959 side by side. So I'm just comparing the tanks, and they are slightly different. The side mounts on the fairing are ever so slightly different. So you can see here, the fairing mounts right up to the tank. It's fully flush on the V2, and just on the 959, there's a little difference in the bracket. So I'm going to need to transfer the mounts from the V2, from the 959 tank that I've just bought to the V2 tank. If you're not already following this build, it's a 2021 V2 Panigale, fully wrecked superbike, and we're going to build it into something beautiful. We've stripped it back, we've replaced the exhaust with a beautiful titanium racing system. Now it's time to get into the more intricate parts of the bike that need fixing. And I've got to tell you, there's a lot that needs fixing. This list just keeps on growing. You may see my new hat, Brisbane Motorcycles. These guys have been helping me out with heaps of really good parts. They do Honda, Ducati, Husqvarna, you name it. So check them out, I'll put a link below. But we have got boxes on top of boxes, so let's get into it.
She offered me some lace and she told me it would take me places. Now I can feel my face and I'm pretty sure she left some traces. Some good, some bad, doesn't matter if it feels amazing. Grab me by the waist, now she wanna tell me something.
That is nice. That is the race seat for the V2 OEM, obviously, and it's got the stitching. You see the stitching just in there? Ducati Performance, that looks so cool. Beautiful red stitching. I don't actually have any other red on the bike, so I don't know, maybe we need some red accents. Actually, I haven't even run you guys past the design, so that's coming in a later episode. So today's goal is to rebuild this front end, and it's not going to be an easy task. I've never actually done this on a superbike before, and it is quite intricate. I think it's not as easy as it looks because there's so many little parts involved. However, one thing we have been able to do is simplify this wiring loom because we just don't need half of it for a track bike. So you might remember we took all of the plastic off the front and we had all of the old plastic pieces and we've kept them in a safe box. So we need to use all the little extra parts of that, somehow figure out how to bolt it all to this. I'll put a diagram on screen here. This is what we're going to use as a reference, and you can find these online if you ever need to. It pretty much tells you how to build it, but you know, it doesn't give you exact instructions. And we're going to try and mount this back on here, just like this, and fingers crossed we'll be able to put the dash in. We might even be able to get the power back to the dash today if we're lucky. We should also have some clip-ons arriving. We've got a new clutch lever. We've got some new domino grips. We've got a bunch of stuff. This whole front end's gonna get rebuilt. Stay tuned. So time for a quick wipe down. Everything's so much easier to work on when it's super clean. So it's really paid off making that decision to keep all those broken pieces at the beginning because we can reuse all the hardware. I don't know how I missed this on the first go around, but check that out. That is a perfect example why you should invest $100 and put some front wheel sliders on these bikes. That nut is ground down completely on one side. You know, I don't even know how I'm going to get it off, to be honest. Hopefully I've got two good sides of traction there. Okay, lucky for us, this also just arrived in the mail, which I think is actually our replacement radiator. So let's see if we can get that on at the same time. So just comparing it against the old radiator, there's a slight thing I'm a bit concerned about, and that's actually the angle of that head there. I would have thought that would have to be straight. Like that one has been bent and it's facing outwards that way. This one looks like it's facing inwards that way. I wonder if that's what that is, but on the description, it didn't say there was any damage, so I'm a little bit annoyed about that. So now I can finally take the screen and whatever this little control unit thing is off the back of this completely busted up front end and put it on our new front end. So that's the next little piece. So another package has just arrived from another courier. It's a bit like a post office in here at the moment. So let's take a look. I've already half unpacked these, but here's our clip-on. It's beautiful, perfect clip-on. So we'll put that to the side. And we've also got our switchgear. So our replacement switchgear. So big thanks to Imperial Sport Bikes. These guys do an amazing job. Okay, so I really feel like I'm missing something. There's, on the front section just here, this whole light replacement section, there's 4 mounting points and they've each got one of these little pieces. 2 of them have, I'll call them internal plugs that you can screw into, and the 2 outside ones sort of just sit on these rods and hold it there, but it feels like maybe they also need bolts as well. I don't know. Either way, it's bolted together now, so that's how it looks. Pretty good for this stage.
Perfect.
Okay, so small problem. I still have a part left, and I don't know where I took it off from. So if anyone can help me, it's this. I really don't know where it's supposed to go back onto. I've just checked everywhere on the front end, and I can't find it. Okay, so whilst we're dealing with problems, here's another one. I just realized that the new radio we've got has both top mounts and bottom mounts, which means that I'm missing mounts on the bike itself. So it looks like when it's crashed, I'll show you the old one. When it's crashed, you can see how these top ones are fully bent, like they are just destroyed. Now, on the new ones, I don't even think twice about it really, but there's actually a mount. There's 2 mounts right up the bottom here of the front end, and it looks like they've broken off as well. So I'm gonna need to go and order another, I think it's called like a front lower subframe. Sorry, it's just a piece of plastic. Okay, so what that does mean though is that we can install our front switchgear and our clip-on and then clean it up a little bit at the front. We should have our rear sets arriving early next week, maybe Monday or Tuesday. Let's double check and see, once I've plugged it all in, that the dash actually works. Okay, so that's actually pretty good news because it not only does it work, but the fan has stopped making a noise and I haven't disconnected the fan at all. So that's a good thing. And also, the only error now showing on screen is a DTC error. So once I spin the back wheel, I might be able to get rid of that error just by spinning the back wheel around, and the front wheel by the way, which will hopefully clear off any traction control error. It's a day for dramas, but I might as well find out about these things sooner than later. We've also got some extra damage on the top of the fork. So you can see how just here we've got a few scratches. Like, they're not too deep, but oh well, we'll just clean it up. This is why I love these OEM clip-on clamps. You can just put them around the existing fork without having to take the top triple off. And they have locators on them, so they sit perfectly in the right position. Next up, it's the switchgear, and equally as easy because it's also got locating pins on it, and then one simple little plug. So let's test out this switchgear and see if it actually works. So what are we looking for? We're looking for indicators. Let's go indicator left, that works. Right works. There is no horn, there is no light. Oh, that's a bit sticky. Okay, this works. So our set works, our mode works. Here we go. Exit, race, sport, street, exit. Get out of that. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I've just been ripped off. The lever I bought doesn't actually have the little clip on the end that activates the clutch sensor. So have a look at it. It's actually fully loose, even out on the furthest most point. I pull it in and it doesn't flick the actual sensor just here. So here's my sensor and it doesn't get it. So look, luckily it was only, I think $30 I paid for this. So yeah, clearly it's not the same. I looked on my V4 and my V4 has got the exact pin on it. So that's all right, you live and learn. $30 wasted. Yeah, yeah, at least it wasn't $300, you know? Okay, so on to the next thing. What we might do is take these old grips off and put the new ones on. Okay, so it's time for the grips to go on. Now, if you haven't seen me do this on one of my previous bikes, here's a little trick. Hairspray, and all I do is grab the grip, spray it with hairspray, try not to make a mess, and then from there, relatively easily goes on. Okay, I can't help myself, but whilst we're just like fixing up the front end, wouldn't it be nice just to see what it looks like with one of the fairings on it? Thanks for watching. It's been one of those episodes where nothing has gone to plan for me anyway, although we did get a lot of the front end put back together, a lot of the new parts put on it, and now we can go away, fix the radiator, we'll fix the radiator mounts, get the new plastics for that. We've got rear sets coming this week. We've got a whole bunch of Ducati bike and other awesome gear coming for this bike in the next couple of weeks. Stay tuned. Like, hit the subscribe button, you know the drill. What's in this box is magical because it has the power to transform this entire bike. Hey, what's up guys? If you're not already watching, this is where we're rebuilding a 2021 fully wrecked Panigale. This is how it looked like beforehand. And pretty soon, it's going to be amazing. So far we've done the exhaust, full titanium race system. We've rebuilt the front end. We've stripped it down and identified everything that needs fixing. And now we get to add some bling, so stay tuned, it's all coming. Do you remember that? Do you remember the crashed and wrecked V2 Panigale tank that we tore off this thing in the first episode? Well, second episode, sorry. Well, we've got a purpose for this, so at the end of the video, we're going to show you. So now it's time to see what's really inside this magical box. It's the Russian doll. It's a box inside a box. Ka-ching! Jewelry for your bike. That is cool. If you don't know what Bonamici is, these are racing rear sets, and these are beautiful. So it's time to replace these ugly things, which to be honest, one of them's half broken anyway, with some beautiful Italian rear sets. Let's get these off, get the new ones on, and watch how it transforms this bike. So it wasn't too hard to get these off, but look at the shifting arm. Man, that thing's worn right down from grazing across the road during the crash. These things are beautiful, and you can see straight away they're in the wrong position. So we're going to put them back and down. So we're going to set it up for a slightly taller rider. And then if you look on the back, you can actually see this swinging mechanism. So what that means is it's the difference between regular street shift and GP shift. So I think we'll go with GP shift. I won't lie, between having fat fingers and slightly bigger than average hands, this was actually not easy. Quick update on the lever situation. Big thanks to Sarah from bikeshop.com.au. Amazing. She managed to get me a pair of EvoTech Performance racing levers, left and right, so clutch and brake, in today's mail. So we should see them shortly. Once the main supporter's on, now I can just follow up with all the ancillary pieces. Some Loctite, and then torque them all down to spec. Then you just adjust the lever on the spine to get the correct ergonomics, and job done. These totally transform the bike. I don't care what anyone else says. I think a good set of rear sets, I think make all the difference. These look, they look awesome. We've now got pretty much two usable and sellable rear sets, OEM. So we're gonna keep them. They'll go in a box. We'll put them on eBay. If you want them, you know where to find them. And believe it or not, I was given this Bonamici lever guard for free, so it's got to go on this weapon. Now the bike's got to get to the paint shop, and I've got to get the wheels done, and I've got to get painted, but it's really unsafe trying to take this thing just regularly on a trailer because there's no rear tie-down points. So, for $30, I've bought this, and we're gonna see if we can make it fit, given we've now got a new exhaust on. So it's supposed to mount directly on top of this here. So I don't know how much room we're gonna have and which way it's supposed to go, but that's half the reason why we've left all this loose. So now that we've got the rear sets on, we can tighten all this up, put the carbon fiber on it, and whatnot. But before we do that, we're going to take these two bolts out, lower it down, and put this in place and see if it works. So I've also realized I'm an idiot, and that I had the tie down section for the race bike in the wrong spot. So I had the tie down points just under here, just under the actual the point for the exhaust, but there's actually another two holes further back. So I managed to get it all the way back there, put a couple of spaces underneath it to push it down a little bit. Now we've got we've got two perfectly good tie down points on the bike. So now when I put it on the trailer, as in when it goes on the trailer next week to get painted, it's not gonna fall off. I'm so smart. Okay, so I've sidetracked a little. It's like 9 o'clock at night. I have managed to put my new hat on. So there's my new Ducati hat. So anyway, I've pretty much taken the whole exhaust off and reinstalled it because I wasn't happy with the way that it was sitting. Now I've actually got it sitting a lot better, but it's very hard to get it sitting just perfect at these mounts. You'll see that, like, if I was going to critique anything about this exhaust, it's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but there's just a couple of little issues here where I couldn't get it to mount perfectly. And I've just left these two bolts loose because I think I actually need shorter bolts and I want to wait until the plastic guard goes on first, just before I really nail that in place. But I am going to give it a good clean down with alcohol now, and then we're going to put the carbon fiber on top as well. But then I just thought of something. I thought, that is really low. Like, look how low that is through here. I wonder if the rear hugger still fits on. So let's check. Oh yeah, that's no dramas. Okay, I've got a legitimate issue and it's really annoying. What am I supposed to do when I can't get this to go in because the master cylinder rear is touching it and my rear set is the whole way forward and down? Okay, I've got it. All I need to do is cut a little bit of this edge out here, just a little section of carbon fiber. You won't even notice it. I'll polish it up. Bob's your uncle. Done. There, easy. All I need to do is get rid of that. And she'll be fixed. So let's talk design. What do you guys want to see the finished product look like? Drop some comments below. Let me know what you think would look ideal on this weapon, and we'll take it into account as well. What is he doing with his old tank? This is busted up. This is crap. Just throw it in the rubbish, man. Well, it's got a purpose. So what I was thinking of doing is actually doing a polished brush alloy finish on the tank. What do you think of that? So it would be a polished brush alloy finish on the tank with a clear coat, a couple of clear coats. It would be a satin black bike with probably down the bottom somewhere some matte black or maybe even some carbon wrap. And wheels, I'll put a photo of the wheels I'm looking at up here. I'll either paint the existing ones in this color or buy these ones from OZ Racing. But that's the color scheme I'm thinking of. There'll be some bespoke oneL decals on it. But what I thought I might do is, now that we've got the spare tank, why don't we have a play with it and see how hard is it to get the paint off it, and can we just get a surface ready just so when the new tank gets here, all I've got to do is make these mounts out of aluminium and then weld them to the new tank, because the 959 tank that we bought doesn't have these mounts. I think there's one. Yep, just these two here, and I think there might be one just under here. So that's easy. Yeah, so let's get to it. Bit of paint stripper, bit of elbow grease. Probably won't show you the finished product in this, but we might show it on the next video. For now, I'm just gonna lay it up, let it sit overnight, bubble up, and I'll come back to it in a day or two. So that's it for this episode. Stay tuned. If you like the build, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. There's heaps more to come. We've got a massive shipment from Ducati Bike and others coming in soon. So there's gonna be some hot bling going on this bike. And yeah, it's no longer gonna look like a wrecked, beat up old, well not old, super bike. It was only 4 short weeks ago, this bike behind us was a total write-off. This is how it looked. It was destroyed. No one wanted it, we bought it, and now we're adding some bling. Stay tuned. I think I need a bigger garage. So we've got some massive news. What's in this box? Boom, that box right there is our new tank. It's arrived from America. So let's get it out and see how it compares to the old one. Looks like it's the same tank, but it's got minor little differences, and we're gonna have to make it the same. But before we can do any of that, we've got to strip these babies down, which means these protectors have to come off. Well, not this one. These protectors have to come off. The paint's got to come off. We're going to strip it right back, because this tank is going to be polished, brushed alloy. Boom. so let's compare these puppies. They both look identical. They've both got the same rear mounts on them. So those are the same. There, they look identical. We can switch over the pumps. They are identical, so that's good. The front mounts are also identical, which is perfect. However, the side mounts just here is where it differs. Now, the only difference is on the V2 tank, this one here, it's got these little bits just here with the side fairings clip onto. The 959 doesn't have that, so we've got a solution. This is our solution. It's called Steel Weld, and it's basically like an epoxy joiner for steel and metal. So all we've got to do is get our Dremel, cut the old mounts off the old V2 tank, and put them on the old 959 tank. Yeah, that's it.
Siempre andaba buscando el amor de mi vida. Siempre se acaba y se me rompe el corazón.
Okay, note to self, don't do that again next to, I don't know, about $100,000 worth of super bikes. Anyway, we're gonna wait for that cake to bake and gonna start to peel all of this paint off. Whilst that's happening, we're gonna get onto something a bit more blingy, a bit more special. Now, you're either gonna love me or hate me, but I may have bought something which I'm pretty sure is not Italian made, and it's a little bit of bling. I don't even know if it's gonna work, but let's see if it looks any good on the bike. And this is what I mean. Shit. Okay, so that didn't go as planned. Now it's got a scratch in it. But basically, carbon brake ducts. What do you reckon? So these are designed to ram air back onto the actual color, not the caliper, sorry, the disc. So the idea is pushes air through the front, rams air onto the disc, cools down the disc. So hard braking situations, you should end up with a cooler disc, thus you get better braking. So we're gonna try and put these on each side and see if they actually do the bike justice. If they don't, drop a comment below, let me know what you think.
Acércate, baby, que quiero sentir tu piel. Ya está sudando, rompiéndolo. Si se está en pareja, pero hoy va a ser infiel. Sé que estamos ahí, te puedo ayudar, yeah. El amor a mí me suena ya como un proyecto. Te lo digo directo, pero tenerte en mi cama pa' mí es una razón. Mantenemos viva la ilusión, mami. Préndete, como un feeling sé que ya estoy encendiéndote. Y me relaja cuando sé que voy a estar viéndote. Aunque sé que lo que diga es mentira. Cuando tú me miras, mami, quiero estar sintiéndote. Como un feeling sé que ya estoy encendiéndote. Y me relaja cuando sé que voy a estar viéndote. Aunque sé que lo que diga es mentira. Cuando tú me tiras, mami, quiero estar rompiéndote.
I've got some reservations about these because like they're just not put together that well. They rely on you putting extensions for the bolts to come out the bottom of the actual shock lower. So your pinch bolts here actually sit exposed, and I don't know what quality bolts they are that they provide you with. So look, they were pretty cheap. I don't know, look, I'll leave them there for a few days. You guys let me know if you want to keep them on. I'll fix them up a little bit better. See how we go. Okay, now I'm covered in red dust, but all I'm gonna do is just give it a wipe down, and then we're gonna apply another layer of the paint stripper. And because we've got pretty much all of the top layer off, the paint stripper should just do the work for us. One quick little suggestion, if you're using a tool like me, make sure you're running it upwards this way. Don't go across because you'll leave lines in your tank. Okay, so whilst that's bubbling away for the second time, why don't we have a look at some of the parts we picked up today. Shout out to a local legend, his name's Sean. He knew I needed a shock and he got in touch with me and hooked me up with the replacement because he knew the one I've got has got grazes all over it. Look at that, it's horrible. So, thank you. Got a replacement ABS sensor for the V4, so that can go over here with the V4 and that can go on next week. Okay, we've got a lot of stuff to go through, guys. I don't even know what half the stuff is that I ordered. Oh yeah! Oh, this is the plastic side guard for over here. This is that. It goes there, I think. Yeah. Okay, brilliant. So that means we can get this all set up. That's awesome. Okay, this looks like it's the replacement coil pack. Yep, brilliant. Perfect new coil pack. It actually says do not use a knife on the package. Oh. Front wheel nut. And some covers for the front screen. I got a replacement front section for the dash just to go in front of that because it was only $40, so why not? And I've just got to replace the sticker, so I'll just take the sticker off that one and put it on this one. This is the rear seat unit, I think. I could be wrong. This is the under seat replacement fairing. Look at that, it's a radiator mount. A full brand new radiator mount. Thank goodness. And it's just shows how much is missing from the original. I'll show you. Okay, so check that out. That's the full mount just here. And this is everything that was missing. Look at all that section, just completely gone. It's missing all the mounts, you name it. Brilliant. It took me 4 hours. That's actually not too bad, but there's a dent in the tank. In this very cool looking protein bag, well, it looks like a bag of protein that you get from the store, we've got engine protection. So this is probably the easiest part I've ever installed. 4 brand new bolts, all tightened down to 8 Newton meters, and boy does it look good. I know part of it's going to sit under the fairing, but hey, you need it for a race bike. That's it for this video, guys. We've got the tank, well, half done. We'll finish it in the next episode. We've got the engine guard on. We've got the ram ear duct intakes on for the brakes. Heaps more little parts done. I feel like we're getting somewhere. You know, if you like, subscribe. You know the drill. Heaps more to come. Our next goal is to get the engine running, but before we can do that, we've got a coil pack and frame mount to replace. We're missing the upper and lower radiator, And the tank needs to be finished and connected. That brings us to today's job. We've got to get all of that done, or as much as possible, so we can get this engine started. So it sounds simple enough, I tell you, it won't be. So I got to jump start with things, and I've actually already stripped this whole area down in one of the previous videos, and that's left me a nice even blank canvas so I can put the new radiator into the new mount, hopefully slide it in place. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it with the wheel there, but hey. So the first job is to take all the old hardware off the old radiator mount that's broken and put it onto the new one. Sounds easy enough, right? I've had to improvise slightly already because when you order all of these plastic parts from Ducati, they don't tell you that there's like another 10 or 20 small, tiny little fitment parts that you need. So I rescued a lot of the hardware off the old radiator guard. However, there's one tiny little piece I need, and it's where the top of the radiator slits in. It's just need like a little rubber, almost like a little rubber glove for anti-vibration. So at the moment it's all zip tied together, so it's not gonna move. Cancel that, I just found one, but that means I'm gonna need one for the bottom radiator as well. So it's much easier to access the bottom radiator than the top radiator. So I'm just gonna put it on the top and we'll order one for the bottom. I hope that made sense. Top, bottom, bottom, top, bottom, bottom. Okay, so it turns out you can't do it with the radiators attached to the guard. I've got the lower radiator all connected. I've got it screwed in, but not too tight. I've got the fan screwed in, but then I've got it loose all at the back here, so that can go under and bolt onto the engine once I've got the top part on. So I think the next part is I need to try and get this whole mount up and actually screw it into the top of the lower triple here, or the lower frame. But before I do that, I probably can't really do that properly until I mount the top radiator in. I didn't put the top radiator guard on because, look, I thought I could save this one, but it is just too bent. So I bought another one, it's on its way, and we've got some new mounting gear as well, some nice new black nuts and bolts. So we'll fix all that in place when it gets here. I know this isn't the world's most exciting stuff, like it's not clear clutch covers, all that sort of jazz, but like the satisfaction at actually getting this bike together is insane. So now we're just gonna work on this left side cover. I'll probably take a photo, like I'll take a photo of all of that the way it is, just so I can like completely understand how to put it back together. Otherwise, I'll probably balls it up. good is that? It is starting to actually look like a complete bike again. I mean, wow. Man, we are powering through it this afternoon. So now we're actually onto the back tail section, and we need to do the same thing we did with the side cover, in that we take everything and all the old hardware off the old piece that's not broken and put it all onto the new piece. I'm missing the fine little bits of hardware to get this back finished, like heaps of these little circlip things. They are like, they're probably 5 cents each. I just need to go to the hardware store and buy a bunch of them. And then I'll be able to finish off this back end. But in the meantime, why don't we see what it looks like with one of the fairings on the side? I'm pretty sure I can get it to fit. Okay, that's it for today, guys. Look, we got so much done. I'm so pleased with how this bike's looking. It's really resembling a super bike now. Now we can start working on our design. So that's going to be something special. And in the next couple of episodes, we're going to finish off the tank. So we've got to sand that all back, clear coat it. We're waiting for the decals from Italy. And then we're going to do all the fluids on the bike and then actually do a live start. So fingers crossed this bike's going to run well and it's going to sound awesome with that Van Diemen titanium exhaust on it. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, plenty more to come. Thanks. I have something to confess. I've cheated on you. All of you. That's right. I did work on the bike without filming it. I know, I won't do it again. But it was only bleeding the brakes. It's time for a magic trick. Okay, so maybe I did a couple of extra things. I put some beautiful EvoTech levers on here and also did this awesome Ducati clear clutch cover. You know, there's hundreds of videos out there showing how these are put on, so I figured I'd just get it done. Okay, one little boo-boo that I've actually made is I was trying to get the tank ready so we could do a first start today, but unfortunately, I broke the fuel pipe off the bottom of it, so I need a new one. So, whilst I was taking this off, I obliterated it. So, that's okay. It's just gonna be another week or two before we get the bike started. cut all the mounts off the old tank. That actually was quite easy. I'm not gonna hold them because they're super freaking hot and I will burn my delicate little fingers. There's another one just there. Oops, almost bashed the very expensive camera. So now this stuff actually looks to be holding quite nicely. Like it feels like it's pretty strong. So now I'm just gonna repeat that process around the other 3 mounts and try and get them perfect, like within a millimeter or 2. Where they need to be, because God knows those fairings probably won't stretch. And then let's put the tank on afterwards. Can you see this little gap just here? Like it's moving about 3 millimeters. This is tiny little gap just here. I've got all the screws in, all the bolts in for both these pieces holding it together, and I just can't figure it out. So hopefully when we put the actual shroud on it, the rear fairing, hopefully it sort of pulls it together. It doesn't look like they give you all of the screws that you need, so I'm gonna have to maybe go and buy some separate ones. I'm not sure. I think we're gonna run short. Okay, so this is why I insisted at the very start that I bag and tag everything, because even though I complained about not having enough nuts before, now I've got plenty, because I've got the middle fairing, all of the kit, all saved and ready. Just look at that, perfect. And every single part I need to put back on has the relevant bolts in the same bag, which makes it super easy. I don't know what I've done wrong with this, but I can't seem to get the bloody seat to go any lower. Like, if you pull it out, maybe I haven't got it on right. I'm not sure. It looks correct. I think I need to go back to the drawing board and figure it out, because when I put it in, that's as low as it goes and it keeps that gap just there. I don't know. Just found a piece I totally missed on the back end, and it's this. It's the makeshift light. So that's got to go just in there, blah, blah, blah. So we'll take the back off again. It's likely it's only 2 screws, and then hopefully it'll look better. We've also put the entire fairing on just on the left-hand side. So, I mean, it's actually bolted in down the bottom, and then I've just used some tape up the top because it is so hard to line it up. And I don't really want to have to do it twice because I'm going to paint it soon anyway. So we're going to put this on the back, and then we're going to talk about design. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking pretty much satin black for 80% of the bike. So pretty much coming through here, everything in the middle, satin black. We'll do the tank a bit like a V4 SP2, where we come up just here and we come across to the top. The front of the tank will be satin black. There'll be a line of maybe white or sort of titanium just here. And then the back of the tank will be polished. So very, very similar to a V4R, but with the 2-tone of color in that tank. Actually 3-tone, because you got the satin black, the white or silver, titanium, and then the polished as well. So through the center here, be satin black. this whole bottom fairing will be either gloss black, matte black, or carbon fiber wrap. And then through the center here, we have a really big decal that just says V2. So V2, and it overlaps the tank. So it goes up into the tank, and that V2 will be probably a super dark gray. So you just see it through the black for the rest of the bike. I want it to be quite subtle. Don't think we'll do any race logos or anything or stickers down the bottom. I think we'll just leave it the way it is. The wheels will be titanium colored. Again, I'll put a picture on screen here as to what the color of the wheels is going to be. So that's what I'm thinking. You guys drop a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Like, I think it's going to be pretty unique. I don't think anyone's done a Panigale in those colors before. So yeah, drop a comment, let me know. So I've got a few issues still I need to iron out, and I think they're small, but I'm going to show you them anyway. So just down in here, you'll see there's actually these mounting points for the fairing, but they've got nothing to mount on. So I think I'm missing something in there, sort of just where the battery lives. I've still got to replace the shock. So I've got the spare shock, I've just got to replace it. I'm not happy with this gap just here under the seat. So I think I need to maybe just go back to the manual and see what I've done wrong there. This whole back section here is missing some of the rubber bungs. You see how it's slightly moving? So I'm gonna have to get on and order those. They're only about 20 cents each. So that's something I'll do later on. This tank still has a little dent in it, so I've got to fill that tank. So as soon as the epoxy dries on these mounts, I'll take the tank off, I'll fill the tank, I will get it prepped for paint. I think we're going to do the painting ourselves. I've got all the professional gear, so why waste $1,000 on someone else doing it? The wheels, however, I will get them professionally done because I'm just not that good at painting wheels. But that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Heaps more to come. Like, subscribe, you know the drill.
Who was the bright spark that designed that? Now I can't get the key in to actually lock the seat lock in place. Bummer. So 6 weeks ago, we bought this fully wrecked V2 Panigale 2021 model. We've done heaps to it. We've stripped it right back. We've put on a whole bunch of performance parts. And now we're actually on the home stretch. So stay tuned.
So what's actually left to complete on this bike? Well, there's actually quite a bit. So we've got the engine, which has to go in for a tune, and that's getting a full performance tune, probably a Woolwich tune or something similar. We've got the wheels, they're going in to be painted a titanium color, really similar to these ones here. We've got the front forks and brakes. So we're probably gonna go with an insert into the front forks, maybe like a Nix 30 Olen's, and then probably an upgraded brake as well. The replacement shock has to go on.
The actual painting of the bike, which we're doing today.
But other than that, it's really just a whole bunch of small things. Now it's time to transform this beauty into something awesome. So we are going to start painting today. It'll be probably a 3-day process. I'll film throughout most of it. I'll try and get most of it. I don't want to go into too much detail because you all know how to paint a motorbike.
The quotes I got were like upwards of $1,300 just to paint these fairings. So really, I'm saving at least $900 doing it myself. I think it cost me $257 for all the paint, but I'm not even using that much, so reality is probably half that. Anyway, I'll put a whole bunch of details as to the process I actually use. I'll put that in the description of the video. The biggest thing is you got to mask up. You got to cover all your surfaces. You don't want any dust. You want a well-ventilated room, yada yada. There's a heap of YouTube videos on how to do this. Watch and enjoy.
This is like the most stressful piece for me. It is literally so tough to try and make sure you get this perfect every time. And I think we've come out pretty good so far. 4 coats so far, and they're just looking awesome. So we might do one more coat because I've still got a little bit of paint left in the gun, and see how it comes up. But overall, pretty impressed. We did have a major boo-boo at the very start where the ear line split, so I had to really quickly fix that before my paint started to go off. But yeah, fun days. Okay, 5 coats done. Okay, so now we're just gonna wait for that to set a little bit, and then we'll start applying the 2K satin clear to bring out that satin look to the black.
You on repeat, you can see, cause you have closed your eyes. You say you listen, but you're missing what it's all about. Rise up now. If you never fall, you don't change at all. Cry out now. Have you given up? I will never stop, yeah. I've tried to help you, but you keep reading between the lines. There's nothing there for you to complicate, we're not aligned. You say you listen, but guessing that's just another sign of growing up. You're growing old, your life keep passing by. Rise up now. If you never fall, you don't change at all. Cry out now. Have you given up? I will never stop, Now if you break it, I can take it, I don't need a prize. Leave out the fact that I am up against 1,000 guys. My intuition efficient, cause I can use my mind. Don't try to tell me how it's done, you haven't done your time. Rise up now. If you never fall, you don't change at all. Cry out now. Have you given up? I will never stop, yeah. Rise up now. If you never fall,
actually done a critical little screw up here that I'm gonna have to take this all apart to redo, but a few people said in the comment section they don't think that steel weld will hold, which is the epoxy weld I used on the tank mounts, and they were half right, because what I did is I accidentally didn't mount the tank at the back to pull it down flat before I put the fairing on. So the fairing has pulled the mounts down. And then when I push the tank back down, I've now got a gap. You can see I've got a gap, and you can actually see it starting to pull those mounts off the tank. So that's okay. Look, I've learned something. I'll take the fairings back off and redo it. That's cool. I'll do that, you know, in the next couple of days. But the good thing is that these mount points are perfect. So the way I've measured these out is exactly where they should be. So now I just have to replicate it. Maybe I'll tack weld it this time just to be sure. I don't know, but either way, that's a problem for another day. But hey, look, I broke it. Shit happens. Yes, I broke the bike, but that's okay, I'll fix it. We've got all the painting done. We had, I think we did 3 coats of black, or maybe it was 4, and then we did 3 to 4 coats of clear coat over the top. We polished the tank up, we did 4 coats of clear, and then we wet sanded that back and then polished the tank. It's all happening. So the only thing we're short on now is to get the bike actually started, we need the fuel clip. So we're waiting on the fuel clip this week. That should come in. The bike's then got to go off to get the decals done. So this is the design that we're going for. I think I showed you earlier anyway. And then the wheels are getting painted, and then it's off for a performance tune. So stay tuned. There's a couple of episodes left to go, and then hopefully this bike will be ready to get out on track for one lucky customer. 8 weeks ago, this bike was massively crashed and it was a wreck. Today, we finally get to try and start it. Okay, so I'm back at my favorite clothing store. Well, they sell t-shirts, don't they? Ducati Brisbane. So let's go in, let's get the final parts that we need to get this bike up and running, and fingers crossed, let this car go past. Fingers crossed we'll get the engine running today. So I'm beginning to feel like this place is my second home, but once again, these guys have come through with the goods for me. Whilst I was there, I also took a look at another V2, just to have a look at the gap across here and check it. So it looks like I am a little bit far off. I've got to bring this up around about probably 2 or 3 millimeters. The standard V2s, the OEM actually has it at around about a 5 mil gap, and I'm probably at about 8 mils there. So I'll bring that back up. Okay, so you might remember from one of our last videos that this back piece here, it was actually loose. So I bought the rubber bungs that I need to go in and hold that together. So we'll put that together. We've also got a clip to go on here. So this is just a stop clip. That comes as part of the race package. So that's gonna clip on that, and it means that that's a nice ended connection. Okay, so that's one more job done. That's now nice and safe and secure. It's not going to move around. And I've also zip tied some of these wires back in so they won't move around. When you're racing, you don't want to be doing a couple 100 Ks an hour down a back straight, hearing something rattle underneath your seat. So better off getting on top of those things now. So one of our viewers just messaged me and said, the first start is always the most stressful, isn't it? I hope all goes well. Look, I cannot exaggerate enough just how nervous I am because we took such a big risk buying this bike, you know, like we didn't know if during the crash it had any engine damage. We know there's a whole bunch of warning lights on the screen, but they can easily be cleared with a diagnostic tool at Ducati or at a tuner. But yeah, I mean, fingers crossed, keep your fingers crossed, keep your toes crossed, legs crossed, everything crossed that this bike fires up. Okay, so first of all, massive shout out to Sean and Russell and all the boys at Brisbane Motorcycles. They came through with all the goods for this bike. Massive amount of spare parts and all ordered on time. And I won't tell you how much I got them for, but let's just say if you're nice to them, they'll be nice to you. They're giving me the heads up about how to put this on. So this is the fuel line cap. I've only got one of these. I waited about 3 weeks to get it, so I don't want to break it. They suggest using a little bit of Loctite and then just screw it in. So first up, we're just gonna make sure that the hole that it's going into is nice and clean. Definitely worth giving this exhaust another clean down. The amount of times my dirty fingerprints have gone all over this thing. Last thing I want to do is have that embedded into a beautiful titanium exhaust. Okay, here goes nothing. So the bike's in neutral. Everything appears on screen like it should be working, but I'm getting absolutely no response at all. I got nothing. It's like the starter's not even actually working, so I feel like something's just unplugged. I don't know, I'll have a quick look, I'll do a bit of a diagnostic and see what it is that's just not plugged in right. Okay, well that could be the culprit. It looks like we're missing a main load ECU fuse. So I'm gonna guess that's ripped off and that's probably what I'm missing. Right, it's quite vital, I guess. So there's none
Gonna get it out of Italy. Yep.
there's none in stock.
No. Nothing in Sydney either.
Okay. I just did a massive search online and apparently this fuse or relay is used across a whole bunch of Ducatis. So I've just completely stripped down my 996 because apparently 996s have these relay as well, and no, wrong, they don't. Oh well. So it's back in the car for another 70-mile journey. Okay, we've got it. The tiny little part just here, another 2 hours home, fit it on the bike, and then fingers crossed, she works. The new fuse is now in, so let's just test it. Before we put the tank back on, let's just test and see if we get any differences on the dash when we turn the key. All the errors are gone and the fan is not running. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we might have a winner. So I couldn't find neutral, but then I realized I actually put the bike in GP shift, so I'm an idiot. Figured it out eventually. Oh my god. Man, that just sounds amazing. Oh wow. So pleased that that's worked. Far out. Like there's all my nerves just gone. I'm so much more relaxed right now. And we've got a running bike, ladies and gentlemen. So now we can move on to the next stage, which is we're gonna put the fairings back on. We're gonna do a few little touch-ups here and there, and then it's already booked in for wheels and decals on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. So we're gonna get it fully back together into one piece on the trailer, back into the city, and yeah, then we might even do a road test. We might even do a road test this weekend. Oh my God, I'm talking so fast, I'm so excited. But no, I'll fire it up again for you. This is amazing. So once again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned. One, maybe two more episodes to go, and this bike is gonna be boom on track. Someone's lucky new toy. Okay, so here we go, episode 10, and this one's gonna be a big one because we've got decals, custom, we've got wheel painting, custom, and hopefully if we can squeeze it in, we've got a performance engine tune at Motor Garage. So stay tuned, it's gonna be epic. So once again, the guys at Advanced Motorcycle Spray Painting came through big time. They even taught me how to hold the swatch cards under certain light and a certain shape to actually get a feel for what the real color is going to be. So after a bit of to and fro, putting it up against various parts of the bike, we came up with a couple of winners.
It's almost
This one's your first
these
pick.
two.
I think it looks different. It doesn't look as like that. Just looks like a set of basic silver rims, whereas this looks a bit more dollary. Let's go with that one. Awesome, thanks, Dan.
That's turned out nice. Hey, they are nice, aren't they?
Good colour choice, ties into the tank.
It really, really ties in quite well, doesn't it? Oh, that's insane. Mate, they look great. They look really good. Super happy with them. They're gonna look awesome in the sunlight as well. Man, they just look sick. They look amazing. Oh, man, I'm so happy, so pleased I went with that color. It's not silver. It doesn't have any tints of gold through it. It perfectly matches the calipers. So look at that, see how it perfectly matches the calipers, or very close to it. Like calipers almost look like they've got a green tint through them now compared to the wheel. Matches the tank pretty well. That's cool. That is awesome. And it's unique too. How many V2 Panigales are you gonna see with this color combo? Not many. Okay, so we're back at Two Wheel Decals, the home of awesome race decals in Brisbane, or my area anyway. Bike is ready to come off, and another happy customer over there loading his R6, pretty wicked bike. And we've got some awesome custom stuff for this. I'll just put a quick image up on screen here as to what it's gonna look like. Obviously it's gonna look an absolute boatload better than that because that's just a design. But just, man, back to these wheels. How freaking good do they look? They look insane. Okay, so we've got the tank grips to go on the side here, and then we've got two different colors of decals. These are the Ducati genuine stickers. So I'm thinking, since my paint job over this side is so bad, we do like a sticker from even this side of the center. You let me know what you think. This side of the center, the whole way across in a triangle to that edge, with Ducati logo here, my logo, and then your logo there in that same dark grey colour. Okay, small segue. So we've made our way to QR racetrack today, and we're helping out a mate who's got his 959 track bike. We're getting it on track today for the first time and running some hot laps, playing with the settings a little bit, and let's show you some action real quick. Okay, so it's been 3 days, I've been waiting, I've got something insane to show you. Come over here. Okay, so the decals are done, the wheels are done, the bike looks insane. Now we're at Motor Garage in North Brisbane. The bike is all ready to go on the dyno. And this outfit is huge. These guys build quite a lot of bikes. They've got a decent following in the track arena as well. And we're about to put some performance into this puppy. So it's gonna go into this dyno machine here, the dyno jet. And we're gonna tune the pants off this thing. So that's about it for today's episode. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, you know the drill. Okay, so we're back for episode 11. This is the final episode in the build series. This bike has come such a long way since we took a massive risk and bought it as a wrecked bike out of 1,000 kilometers from here. It's gone through a huge transformation. It started off looking really bad, like it had been in a massive wreck, and it had been. And now it looks like this. It looks absolutely sublime. So this episode is all about performance. We're gonna go in, it's gonna be performance tuned on the dyno. It's in the dyno at the moment, so we're gonna get those results pretty soon. Stay tuned, it's gonna be epic. We've got a few things to go on this. We've finally got the last
couple of little rubber bungs that go in the back light bulkhead, so they can go in and just stop the back light from being wobbly. And then, check it, YSS steering damper, 30 clicks of adjustability. Let's put it on.
So once I've removed the top bolt and the side bolt out of the existing damper, it's pretty easy. The whole thing just slides right out. You just got to make sure you don't drop the spacers for the bolts down into the fairing. And don't worry if it's back to front when you get it in the box. If it's right to left or left to right, all you got to do is remove the clamp off the damper, twist it around, face the other way, and then clamp it back together again. Make sure you lock tight the two bolts. Use the hardware, so the spacers from the original OEM damper to the best of your ability, and put it back together. And I also wasn't too happy about the original tank mounts I made, so I took them off, cleaned up the tank a little bit more, made some much stronger, bigger ones, put them back on, and then I also improved the vacuum system under the tank. So I've made these little extensions, they're around about 2 inches of pipe, just to make it much easier to get the vacuum hoses on and off every time you remove the tank. Something else I'm super excited about and I've been doing behind the scenes is getting my V4 ready for the track. We've done one track day on it so far and it's a weapon. So taking all the road gear off it, slowly putting new track gear onto it, and I'm slowly going to transform this into an absolute beast.
So we've got a couple of bets going. What were your thoughts?
145 for me.
145, that's 145 at the wheel, not 145 at the crank. So what would that translate to at the crank?
Use about 10-12%, so you had about, say, 140, about another 16-17.
All right, so that would be close to 160 at the crank, which, you know, most people talking crank values because they want to pump their ego up a little bit, so that'll be interesting. Be interesting to see.
It's gonna be good.
I actually don't know. I've got no clue. So, yeah. Time for the final figures. What do we got?
Started with 142, finished with 151.
Oh, nice. For a V2, pretty good.
It's a massive dip down low when you first got on the throttle.
Yep.
And then we've picked it all up from 7,000 onwards.
Yeah, sweet. That's awesome. And that's 151.28 at the
Tire.
At the wheel. So when most guys are talking, they're talking at the crank. So realistically, this is what? What's the ego number of this? 165?
Add another 10%.
Another 10%.
12%.
Yeah, that's pretty good numbers. Awesome. Great work.
No problems.
Thanks, man. build cost 21,000 Australian dollars, which is about, I think it's 14,150 American dollars. It's not bad, I'm pretty sure you'll agree. I've got all the big things here. There's a few small little bits and bobs, like some fitment things I haven't put on here. But like, that's not bad. I'm happy with that. Bring on the next build, I say. So we're almost finished. There's only 2 things left to do on this bike. We've just got to lock wire the brakes, so that's easy. I'm not going to bother showing you that on film. And we've got to put the oneL Nix 30s into the actual cartridges. So we're going to switch the cartridges out. oneL Nix 30s, if you know, beautiful entry-level track cartridges. So they're going in, not cheap. Had to source them from Italy, so they're still a couple of weeks away. But look, there's a few things, a few people I want to thank that helped on this build. So Motor Garage in North Brisbane, Brisbane Motorcycles, of course, for a lot of the OEM Ducati parts. 2-wheel decals for helping with me with the design and getting the decals all done to it, and Advanced Motorcycle Spray Painting for doing the wheel paint for me. So massive thanks to all you guys. It wouldn't have looked like this without you, and I'm so happy. Bring on the next build. Look, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think we should do. Should we do another Ducati? Should we try and pick up an RSV4 Aprilia? Maybe a R1M, something a bit more different. I'm pretty keen to do another Ducati. Again, drop a comment, let me know. Like, subscribe, you know the drill. Thanks.